amazing. We are back after that powerful song break. And of course, as we start off the newspaper review, just to invite you to keep your ears open even to what is happening in our nation so that we may know how to pray and how to intercede. And of course, I see the top story here on the Daily Nation. It goes with the headline, "What did Raila say?" So functional wars within the Orange Democratic Movement have intensified, with rivals clashing on the political direction decreed by party leader Raila Odinga, who died last Wednesday. The dispute on the outfit's commitment to the broad-based government and subsequent support for President Ruto's re-election, twin issues over which each side is conveniently interpreting Raila's word to its advantage. But what was his wish? I think it's what they say in Swahili. Mti mkuu ukigwa, wana, is it the birds? Wana ndege huyumba. I remember my Swahili teacher was called Mr. Chenene back there in primary school. Mti mkuu ukigwa, wana ndege huyumba. So that means that when a tree, that has been the home of birds, falls, then you realize that those birds that have been there, kidogo wanayumba yumba. So that is what is being witnessed in the ODM party, with them looking back at the things that have been said. So let us take a short break right now, and then we'll be back in a bit.
Get ready for an unforgettable worship experience. Every Sunday on Ultimate Worship. Where we bring you live music, powerful praise, and anointed gospel ministers and bands. Join us every Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. with a repeat at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Everywhere I go, I see you right there.
It's not just music, it's worship unleashed. It's ultimate worship.
You're too faithful to fail me.
Only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
All right, we are back, and we apologize for that bit of a technical hitch, and we are back just to keep looking at what the newspapers are saying this morning. I was just giving us a methali, is it a methali in Swahili that says mti mkuu ukigwa wana ndege huyumba, words from my primary school Swahili teacher that was called Mr. Chenene. That means that when that tree falls, the birds that were there kidogo, they are shaken. So that is what we are seeing in the top page here, making the headlines. What did Raila say? More on the same, we are being told by the Daily Nation this morning that factional wars within the Orange Democratic Movement have intensified, with rivals clashing on the political direction decreed by party leader Raila Odinga, who died last Wednesday. The dispute is the outfit's commitment to the broad-based government and subsequent support for President Ruto's re-election, twin issues over which each side is conveniently interpreting Raila's word to his advantage. But what was his wish? A story that has been covered on page 4 and also 5. And just to look at but a few of some of the comments from the party or the MSG, Edwin Sifuna here saying, Raila said, as a party, we must prepare ourselves for the 2027 general election. Those spreading other narratives here, Raila has previously asked them, who has told you? We will follow the last standing instruction of Raila. And then we have Siaya Governor James Orengo saying, I am one of the people who believe we must keep ODM. President Ruto, let us not kill parties. Political parties are the foundation of democracy. On the other side, the Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga saying the last instruction he left us with, and I remember him speaking at the burial of Dr. Phoebe Asio, he said he made a clear decision to work with you, that is Ruto. This is the last standing instruction that Baba gave to us. Treasury CS John Mbadi on the other side saying Raila showed us before he died that he wanted us to be in government. As a party, we will be in the broad-based government. So we have two parties of course, talking about two different things, and all have tagged it to be the words of Raila. So, of course, there's a lot of shaking in the party at such a time as this because of the death of Honorable Raila Odinga. But we continue to follow up on the same just to see what will happen ahead of the 2027 general elections. Storm over laws Ruto signed on Dark Wednesday. So that was the other thing that was creeping up and, of course, getting the attention of many people, wondering what are these laws that were signed even as the country was mourning. Page 6, former Chief Justice David Maraga has criticized President Ruto for assenting to 8 controversial bills last Wednesday on the day former Prime Minister Raila Odinga died. He said one grants the executive a sweeping mandate on the sale of state farms, while another gives it unilateral powers to crack down on free speech. A story covered on page 6. The question continues to be, what are these laws that the president assented to? On the education sector's house suspect in KCSE exam papers fraud was arrested. I see Directorate of Criminal Investigations officers arrested the man at Mary University on suspicion of selling fake exam papers through a WhatsApp group. On the crime, I see why man accused of killing son was freed. This is interesting. The search for justice in the killing of a 3-year-old boy in Nakuru hit a dead end when gaps in the prosecution's evidence failed to nail the prime suspect, who had initially confessed to the crime. This is a story covered on page 8. On tragedy, they went to mourn their leader. Now they too are in coffins. Families of 3 people shot dead by police and 2 others killed in a stampede during Raila Odinga's funeral are preparing for their burials. This is quite unfortunate. What we did mention yesterday, that in the heat of the morning, in the heat of the stampedes, we lost lives. And I keep asking myself, why were there live bullets in such a demonstration? Because it was not really even a demonstration per se. People were mourning. People were just going to pay tribute to the fallen leader. So, of course, there's a lot of questions as to why this even happened. Why would people be shot dead in such an event? But we are just sending our condolences to the families that have been affected by this. And moving on, the Daily Nation is also covering Kenya-Senegal Inc. visa-free deal to deepen cooperation. Stella Bosire build an equitable health system to honor Odinga. So that is what is happening. And also KRA eyes AI to speed up cargo clearance at airport. Now, let's look at the Standard newspaper and see what is being reported here. Today, this morning, I see Out with Freedoms. That is the story making the headlines. And here we are seeing midnight laws. Of course, that is just what we were talking about. What are these laws that were signed? 4 hours after Raila Odinga's death, President Ruto signed 8 controversial bills into law. Measures critics say betray the very freedoms Raila spent his life defending. Among them, in the new Cyber Crimes Act, which, while tightening safeguards against online fraud and harassment, hides vague clauses that could muzzle free speech and silence dissent. So, former Chief Justice David Maraga has condemned the move as a mockery of Raila's legacy and announced plans to challenge the laws in court. So, let's look at that. Cyber Crimes Act, these are the implications. Number one, criminalizes publishing false digital information, threat of up to 3 years imprisonment or fines of 5 million shillings. So we have two vague definition of cyber harassment targets activists and opposition figures, handling them jail terms of 5 years or 10 million shillings fines. State agencies can block websites or online content without court approval, enabling shutdowns of critical media voices of dissent. It is vague wording and possible retroactive enforcement of the law creates fear, leading to censorship and self-censorship online. We also see 4 allows police to demand user data from service providers, raising concerns over political spying and privacy violations. So these are some of the things that are coming out from these 8 controversial laws that were signed, the bills that were signed 4 hours after the death of Raila Odinga, Honorable. So you can look at that in more detail. That is covered in the Standard, because now, it obviously attacks the freedoms that Raila fought for, and especially that freedom of expression. And I saw somewhere that also that Raila never sued anyone for making any comment against him. Even when it was defamatory, he did not go ahead and sue anyone. He believed that people were entitled to their own opinions. But this now is a different story altogether. So we'll continue to follow up on the same and see how the story ends. But we are hoping that there will be sanity and sobriety around the same. And just looking briefly at the Business Daily this morning, just the top story here, I see regulator removes hurdle for crypto insurance cover, a story that has been covered on the Business Daily this morning. So that's it for the newspaper review. You can grab a copy of your favorite. Let's keep praying for this nation. Let's keep praying that there's going to be stability, that the nation is going to move to the next level, that indeed the Lord is going to do a new thing in our nation. We are going to see change. We're going to see a shift even in the leadership, and that God is going to intervene and raise up a leader who is after his own heart. That is what we need in our nation, that we may be healed, that we may be taken back to that place of bliss and being restored to a place where we are all flourishing, we are all prospering. So let's keep praying for our nation of Kenya. I believe that God is at work and he will keep his promises to us. So let us now have a look at the video of the day, this beautiful song by Kambua. When we come back, we will be talking about it just to see what lessons we can pick from it.